Hey, it's Vac again, and today I wanted to just talk about something that, I don't know, I feel like I have a lot of opinions, so I'm gonna voice another opinion, and this time I'm voicing an opinion in favor of World of Warcraft, believe it or not. You know, I still play both, though I much prefer 14 over Warcraft, but I'm going to, move away from that and just explain what I'm talking about here. The one field that I feel I really enjoy Warcraft for over Final Fantasy XIV is the fact that at least in World of Warcraft, you have a greater racial diversity. And by that, I don't mean the palette swap nonsense that they're doing with the upcoming patches for the sake of moversity. I'm talking about like a plethora of player character races. You know, you have more than just a human plus X factor, which is an area where I feel that for the most part Final Fantasy XIV is severely lacking in. And of course, this is my opinion. You're free to disagree with me if you want. That's perfectly fine. You're, perfectly valid opinion. But I personally feel that, World of Warcraft has a better overall selection when it comes to what you can choose to play as. I mean, granted, I don't necessarily like the fact that they made the gnomes look like, they suffer from something wrong. The fucking sausage fingers, the oversized heads, it's unpleasant to look at. But all in all, I feel like Blizzard does it a lot better in terms of, choice. Do you want to play it undead? Do you want to play as a tauren? Do you want to play as, a troll, an orc, humans? Though I don't know why you would want to, but to each their own. Worgen, Volpera, fucking over a dozen races to choose from. Granted, not all on the same faction, but over a dozen races to choose from. Though admittedly, some of them are simply reskins of other races, and each one has their own unique racial abilities and all that other fun shit. I don't know. I feel like this is one area, possibly one of the few areas that Blizzard manages to, outshine. There are other races in Final Fantasy XIV that I'm kind of like, why can't we play as them? I mean, would it just be too difficult? Is it because there's no dimorphism? I mean, if that was a problem, then the Vera and the Hrothgar wouldn't be a thing. Because as we all saw with Shadowbringers, there's only female Vera and male Hrothgar. So why not create a beast race that we could play as? Why can't we play as kobolds? Why can't we play as goblins? Why can't we play as Mamul Ja? Why can't we play as Banga? Why can't we play as, hell, Moogles? Bring us Ivalician Moogles. Why the hell not? I'm sure it would make a lot of people who are fans of the Tactics Advanced series really happy. Granted, they didn't butcher them in the designing process, but I feel like an expansion to player races would be a good thing, and they don't necessarily have to be humans. I mean, okay, let's look at the Final Fantasy XIV races. You have Cure. Well, that's a human. That's a plain and simple human. You have the Elzen. Well, that's a tall human. That's a tall human with long ears. You have the Rogadin. Well, that's just a swole human who never missed a day to the gym in their life. You have the Aura. That's the edgy human that's not secretly a friggin' scaly. You have the Hrothgar, which, by God, it's actually a beast race. It's a big furry cat man, but it's a genuine bona fide, not just human plus. You have the Mikote, which are just weeaboo cat people, but that's fine. I'm fine with weeaboo cat people. One of the best boys of the entire game is a weeaboo cat person. You know who he is, we all know and love him, and if he ever gets hurt, Yoshi P will never hear the end of it. He already took Harshaphant away from us, we cannot let him take this one as well. The Vera are basically just tall ladies with bunny ears, and Lalafell are short humans that don't look like they're suffering from hydrosyphilis. They don't look like water-headed freak babies. Unlike the gnomes from World of Warcraft. Don't get me wrong, I love my gnome characters. Well, except for a good chunk of male gnomes, they look something straight out of a horror show. But the fact is, I like short characters. I like my short races. Again, like I said before, I like the idea of little people doing big things. It's cliche as hell, but I love it. But the fact is, comparing the two games in terms of racial play, that sounds really weird. Comparing the two in terms of races to play as, maybe that sounds less weird. I feel that World of Warcraft wins overall. I mean, granted, Battle for Azeroth was sold on a bit of a lie because, you know, they said on the packaging, hey, we got these new player races, and then you realize you just bought into a game and you had to continue paying on it until you unlocked those said races, which weren't even implemented from the get-go. They were implemented at a much later date, which was kind of bullshit. Way to sell us on a lie, Blizzard. Keep up the usual work. It's fine. We expect nothing less of you. But yeah, I mean, if Square Enix would add more player races to Final Fantasy XIV that weren't humanoid, or at least weren't like, what's the best way to put this? Like, something that isn't visibly human just with something extra added to it, I for one would not complain, because I like that idea. It makes the people who are making the game have to think outside of the box. But that's just my opinions on it. Do you want to see, do you want to see a new player race in Final Fantasy XIV that's more bestial? Do you want to see, what player races do you want to see in World of Warcraft? I know for certain that I would love to see Naga or Murlocs be playable, but it'll be a cold fucking day in hell before that ever happens. But yeah, I'm gonna leave comments open down below. Go ahead, submit your quandary. Let me know what you think. And I'm done with this one.